So I really noticed every time that things that is actually colored without black really look more impressively, and they look less dirty and spoiled. And that is really easy to make a gradient while you color all the things together. You really need to pull one color on another when you use outline, and you need to do some link color that should be really dark to not be visible on black, no pixels, and bright a lot, bright enough to not to put another color over it. It's really difficult to pull all these colors through. We have world famous, which I work with a lot. They have all tints, like concentrate, so I need to take more from internal. They are not all good, and they have not all that I need. So don't be mad, not go mad about it, and just mix whatever you want with the colors you need. They're really liquid and actually spoilish. So when you want to color something and then you wipe it, and that previous part will be dirt and you cannot wash it out. So just collect all the concentrates and try to work with everything. So the third moment here, and how colors change with the time. Probably you noticed that not black but colored some dew can actually change really strange. White become more like creamy, bonish. Blue become more turquoise, and yellow become more, like mustard. And that is actually predictable. That is not random, that you should remember and then use it. That is one simple scheme you gotta catch, and then you can actually predict any result and understand what will be going around like after 3 months or years. So going further, I want to say that if you want to get some turquoise color, not actually greenish but actually turquoise, you need to color it with blue color, not dark blue but blue, and then the man will go with that turquoise color he needed at the beginning. So, but at the picture it won't look like turquoise, it will look like blue, and you don't need it, but then it will look as you wanted it to. So, another thing that is really about skin. So, the skin, like we gonna talk about usual European skin, like usual bright skin. The darker skin, the worse results. So, we will speak about skin like I have, we all color here in Russia. So, if we gonna talk about all type of skins, our video will be real long. So the skin has kind of yellow tint. Probably you don't see it, but it's like faded yellow that actually covers your tattoo after it's healed. So you have to know and have to understand that while you ink, tattoo under skin, not above it, and that layer that is above your tattoo, that is yellowish. It's not yellow like lemon, like banana, but it's like faded yellow color that really add some warmth to our tint. So our tints that were cold at the beginning, you will move it to warmer color. Just I want to say that if we add some yellow to the blue, it's more like turquoise again. So if we don't add it, it remains blue, but we'll have this yellow from our skin to our final result. So that's why white becomes like creamy. If we add just a little part of yellow, it will be just color of some ivory. Yeah, it works so, but the darker tone, the worse, the more complicated the skin need to change it. If we color an ink black, it won't be just, black with yellow. But if you take some really concentrated dark blue But with the time it will be dark blue, it won't be just dark blue-green. The more bright color you use, the more warm it will be after it's held than dark tints. Again, if you want to make the color brighter than your color right now, you have to predict it and understand that brighter colors will get like with yellow tone, with yellow tint after they held because of skin again. So actually orange and warm colors not actually work with it, so they cannot actually change, like, you won't spoil yellow with yellow, so it really works out with cold tints like blue, green and others. So like blue and turquoise not actually can, held like we have them in our pots, so because our skin works, so we cannot actually change it through all this stuff. If we have a lot of warm tints around and we have just really area of blue, it will be really, really noticeable. If you want to change not change your color and wanted to save it blue and really cold, don't take that bright color and try to do the darker. That is really predictable, easy and simple to do. So I think anyone from you can really understand and work with it. Also, there is kind of rule that everyone saw that kind of really white, like paper page skin, that is really easy to work with it because it doesn't actually spoil the final tint and final color. If you notice that the specter of skin is really dark, you have to worry much more for the finished result, for the final result. There is one more reason why I don't use just clear blue tints. Probably I have, but just many of them, just clear turquoise or blue whitened tints, big, areas of them. So for the sky or something, I don't use them, because any clear tint is going to be spoiled and not to be clean, going to be dirty and spoiled with the time and with our skin covering it over its held. So that's why I use more grayish tones of blue colors. So the fourth point of everything I wanted to tell you about combinations and how to combine. I've never tried to learn some kind of lists or rules for combining. I just got them through, my own experience. So I noticed that, sequence after I began to work. Probably you've heard about polar colors, that is not black, that is white, for example. So what is polar to blue? That is orange, for example. So polar is just like antonym, that is another one. So it works right in coloristic. Like black is really contrast to white, and they make real great contrast through all this inking. So black is really dark and white is bright. So they're really not only polar, they really contrast in kind of color. So if you will think about it while using blue and orange, if you will use dark blue and really bright orange, that will be really contrast in temperature, also in bright and dark, and you will have this color contrast very strong and very visible. If we will use like clear colors like orange, they will give you the same, weird cartoons. They're not actually look cool. If you will use just clean blue and clean orange, like both bright, that will be not actually good. So I have my last work where I used these, purple with green and like avocado color colors with pink tints, less saturated than clean, like near to skinny tone, and not actually bright. And it doesn't look like, you know, you have to and you want to rip your eye and go away. So, as I told you before, blue with dark blue with orange, I make it gray and cold with blue in it, in this combination, and I use orange but really saturated. Thinking about blue that is really faded, so the bright end of orange that is really looks good. I always try to combine these, so they actually look and work cool. So you have bright colors where it's needed, and somewhere it's not actually bright, and some faded muddy colors. So that is about first moment, that is saturation is really have to work in these moments where you need it, not everywhere. You can take any, you know, tablet you need and like try to invert color. Like for example, you can draw some red and invert it, and you can see another one. So you can find out what color is polar to another one. So then you whiten it, not to be very bright and then saturated, or you make them really saturated because they're muddy and faded. So there is really simple way to combine actually work and useful palette for everything. So the fifth point, the last one, that is for them who have art education. That is really obvious for them. So any objects, when they on light this color, you have to warm. In the shadow you have to make it colder. I tried to experiment with it to do like you have this light and that is really cold, and lighten the part of this object that is really cold and you know, warmer to the dark. So for example, you have this green, and from the top it has like turquoise, and it looks like stupid. So you have to everything that is in shadow, you have to do that colder. That is obviously, and like in real life, you know, when sun drops on the object, it makes it warmer. So you have to work with it while you do that with tattoo, because it really works. So you have to do so, and do not try to experiment, because I did that a lot of times, and that is doesn't work so with cold tones from the top. So that is 5 points I want to tell you about. So probably I'll add something in other videos or vlogs, but by the way, I hope these 5 points were actually really useful for you. So if you really liked it, put a comment under the video. Probably somewhere I was wrong, but people who have art education, please tell me if something was wrong and I did it wrong or said something stupid. Okay, so subscribe, comment and like. I hope you enjoyed this video.